I'm Caitlin Tyrrell with the Illuminerdi, and I am here with the geniuses behind Bob's Burgers and the Bob's Burgers movie. I got a little sneak peek of the first 6 minutes, and it's just absolutely amazing. It is. I can't even put it into words. It's so good.
But try.
Just the whole time.
Yeah, just tell us. We want to hear every single thing you thought. Go.
I can definitely do that after this. So what were you able to do with this movie that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do in a half-hour episode?
Well, there's a big thing that we couldn't do that I don't want to give away, but like genre-wise, we could do some genre stuff that we couldn't do in the show.
Yeah. We didn't want to break the show. It's not like, oh, this could never be on TV. This couldn't be Bob's. But it just is a movie.
Yeah.
And when you're making a half-hour TV show, it has to be a half-hour TV show. You can break some rules and bend some rules in both. But we really wanted this, to feel like something that just leaps across the bounds of what you would see on the series. But again, without giving too much away.
Yeah, and I think visually it was just fantastic to really get in there and just get the acting you really wanted. You know, on the show, we're just working so quickly. So every episode we're drawing to the last second before they take it out of your hands and they have to send it overseas to get animated. But the beauty of this movie was it was all those things that we never have time for on the show. Now we had time. It's like we wanted to go back in and adjust those eyebrows 3 times just how we want it, and that was it. So that was one of the great things about working on the movie. Yeah,
we don't have enough time. Bernard's drawings they are the show. They are the characters at their best. And making the series, we have wonderfully talented, excellent people who work on the series, but I selfishly always want Bernard to draw the whole thing. And on the movie, we could almost do that. You know, we could almost have one person's hand touch, felt like almost every frame. And of course, many, many other talented people had to bring their skills to it. But his drawings are really special. And so that being able to do that for 90 minutes is a treat for us anyway.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And then how do you balance bringing in new audiences with the movie and then just celebrating your longtime fans?
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. we definitely had it in mind the whole time.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be a movie that, first of all, I think a movie that we liked. Like, it's like movies that we would want to go see. And then also, like, what if you never saw, you didn't know a thing about any of these characters?
Yeah.
I like those. I love a thing that has richness and depth and has you can sense some thought behind it, but I don't need to always know. There's that pleasure of a really well thought out world that could feel like it might be a TV series or it might be adapted from a novel or something, but you don't know. You're just sitting in the dark, just appreciating that somebody put that much depth into something. And I feel like if somebody comes and sees this movie and they've never seen the show and they don't even know the show exists and they like the movie, that's the person I'm thrilled to have made something for, because it's often me. I'm often the guy who just it's like waiting till the playoffs to start following a team. I'll often wait for the movie before I check out a thing. And I think, who can read now? So I think, like Nora said, we were thinking about them, those folks that don't watch the series that might see this movie. We're perfectly comfortable with them. They don't need to apologize to us for not watching the series. Come to the movie. Feel no pressure to have seen anything.
Yeah, and then now that Bob's Burgers is kind of part of this Disney catalog, is there a character from the Disney catalog, be it Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, that you would like to see appear on Bob's Burgers?
I will say we do crossovers very carefully, if at all. Or another way to say that is anything that's from another world that comes into our world feels like it has it shakes the foundations of the universe in a way that's really scary for us. We're very protective and kind of boring. as a result, and I always feel bad because I know the fans love crossovers. I know it's exciting to see a character from something come into another thing, but we're the worst at it.
I think we also want, like, our kids live in the world where they watch that stuff, so
Yeah.
it would also be, like, world-breaking for them. Like, wait, I watch Marvel movies and now they're here in my house, so I think we, like, operate on that.
Yeah, we
Level.
want to do Iron Man jokes. We don't want to do Iron Man.
yeah.
And you guys have just had some amazing guest stars throughout the series. Do you have a favorite, and can you tease any that might be appearing in the movie?
We love our guest stars. We have had people come and do the show from out of the sheer goodness of their hearts, especially when we were just early on. It wasn't, they just trusted us and trusted us with their voices, and that's such a pleasure. And I don't never would pick a favorite. I can't because we just feel so appreciative to every single one of them who have either come for a one time or who have come back. That's always so fun to build up a little bit of a relationship with kind of a troupe, a larger ensemble of people. And some of these folks, their careers are so big in a lot of ways. Asking them to do the movie was like asking them to hurt their career because they're working on other stuff. And it's like, we don't want to take away time from your busy career. And as a result, we said, hey, we're not going to use your name. We don't want to, we're not trying to do a movie that has a bunch of cameos that's going to be some promotable thing. So a lot of our favorite returning guest stars, we can't tell you about, you'll have to see. But we do love that there's a community of people out there who've lent us their voices, and we just hope to be able to keep making a home for those folks. That's the boring answer without dropping any names. Gotcha. You were like, oh, we can just cut that. When he starts talking, cut from there to the end, and then it'll be, let's see what somebody else says.
And then I love the animation in that 6-minute clip because it feels so at home with the show, but just kind of almost at a next level. So can you talk a little bit about the process of animating this movie compared to the show? Because I know that you had more time.
Yeah, and really that's what it comes down to, because we would love every episode to look like that, and we're always trying to add stuff in. And I know, like, lighting was a big, we have a production designer, and Ruben, and he was just amazing. The stuff he brought to the movie was spectacular, and so we're already trying to bring that back into the show, adding that stuff into the show. But for the movie itself, like the animation itself too, yeah, it was just a matter of having all that time. And so getting into these song sequences where we had dancing, yeah, we could never have had the time to do that in the show. So it wasn't like it was that much more difficult, but it was like, oh, I can actually spend a week working on this shot rather than doing it in 3 hours or something, To have the same backgrounds that you know already, this is true for us and for the fans, I think, but then to see it with even more light and shadow and texture is so exciting. But it's not 3D. We didn't change how we do the show. It's just a 2D movie, a lovingly made 2D movie, but just with more artists and more time and more care on each background, on each character. And to be able to bring light and shadow into a 2D movie is thrilling for us. It looks to us, hopefully it does to the audience too, like some of the classic 2D movies, which they're not making that many of these days. So we're very aware that we're part of a great tradition of filmmaking, and we hope that the audience comes and sees that as something worthwhile. And that not everything has to be a CG movie. No offense to the CG movies, you're lovely. I watch you too. But I think that it's when you put a light and a shadow in a 2D movie, it's an artist making a decision. There's no computer involved. They can't automatically generate the shadows.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to decide where each one of those goes.
And I think it was great to hear you say that, actually, that it feels like part of the show, because that was also so important. We didn't want to have massive 3D shots that was at every turn, because it had more budget. We wanted to feel like it was still part of the show. So that was a big thing we were always working on, just keeping it feel like it could be in the show, just a little slicker.
Definitely. And then one of the things I just love about Bob's Burgers is it's this family that maybe doesn't always understand each other, but always supports each other. Can you talk about the importance of showing that in a popular mainstream animation and now an animated film?
I think we all veer that way anyway. Like, we want them. First of all, the cast loves each other, and so it comes out when they're recording together. And I think we all just want it. We like it more when they love each other, you know.
Yeah.
And also, I think it sort of sticks with you a little more. Maybe it just like sort of pops out a little more if it's based on heart and love, you know, instead of just, and of course we're trying to put jokes in there,
Yeah.
but like it sort of touches a few more like things inside you. That's a good way to say it. But like if there's a little bit of emotion and heart in there, and also like we just want them to love each other because it just makes us happier.
Yeah, character-driven storytelling is it's a slow burn. You know, you gotta commit.
Yeah.
And if your show gets canceled, well, you know, it's painful. But if you're lucky enough, which Bob's was, to stay on the air and for the audience to get to know the characters, then it pays off. Then you are in sync because they know what a Gene would do or Tina would do, and so do we, or at least we try to. And you were together watching a character who, for all intents and purposes, we're all treating as real.
Yeah.
Reacting to something, and so you get this payoff, this huge payoff. It doesn't have to be joke driven, it doesn't have to be story driven to get your laughs or to get your thrills or to get your tears. You get it because you all invested in this character, and so you know we feel really lucky. It's not as easy to do. It's harder to get, you know, to make the jokes land, I think, in the beginning, because no one knows the characters, so they don't know why something's funny or not. You know, why is Tina groaning? What's that about? But it gets funnier the more you've invested. So yeah, we feel really lucky.
Well, it's so good. I can't wait for the entire movie. I'm so excited. The Bob's Burgers movie comes out May 27th, 2022. And thank you so much for talking to me about it. It's just, congratulations. It's just, from what I've seen, it's amazing.
Thank you so much.